So let me now move on to our next speaker this afternoon, and that is Dr. Imam Muhammad Ashafa. He is the co-director of the Muslim Christian Interfaith Meditation Center in Kaduna, leading task force to resolve conflicts across Nigeria. An Ashoka Fellow in 2006, Ashafa was conferred with an honorary doctorate degree in alternative medicine in India in 2005 from the University of Glasgow, and in 2010 and from the University of Massachusetts in 2012. He is the chief imam of the Mosque Foundation, the Goodwill Ambassador of the Golden Rule on the African continent, as awarded by the United Religions Initiative and the African Union. He is also set to be honored as Africa Man of the Year. Wow, we need to congratulate him on that, isn't that? Along with Pastor James Wu for 2013 by the Africa German Foundation, or Germany Foundation. Let's give him a warm welcome and congratulations this afternoon.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil mursaleen. Distinguished brothers and sisters, I greet you with the greeting of peace by saying once more, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Meaning, may peace and blessing of Almighty be with you all. Here is an opportunity to share with you what models have we been using. How do we come into putting into practical terms the concept of our shared values within the human family, shared values within Abrahamic traditions? How does we make it work? How do we use it in our own context? As a Muslims, looking at Nigeria, and of course the African continent, which is acknowledged, my city, Nigeria, is acknowledged to be the most religious nation in the world. Of course, most religious, but of course not most godly. And being one of the most, and Africa is also adjudged as the most notoriously religious continent. Anything can sell in the name of religion on the continent of Africa. Their passion for faith, passion for spirituality. How are we able to build this partnership? Not only in Nigeria, but across the continent of Africa, and sharing those values around the world. Our shared values were moved, for me, is motivated by the Quranic scriptural text. First is the Quran chapter 4, verse 1. Quran chapter 4, verse 1. Second, Quran chapter 49, verse 13. Quran 49, 13. And thirdly, Quran chapter 3, verse 64. 364. This scriptural text are the strong motivating factor when you look at shared values that create a bond between the Muslim community and the others who live next to them, irrespective of their belief, their race, their culture, or their worldview. How do you relate with them? These are inclusive scriptural texts that talk of inclusive shared values across the human family. It bounds that the destiny of our Muslims is attached with the destiny of the other. These are scriptural texts specifically, because there's no time to go into that. You can just go into those texts and you can find what I'm really talking about. Then there is the hadith, which is the outstanding famous hadith that says, La yu'minu ahdukum hatta yuhibbu lahakihi ma yuhibbu nafsi. Meaning not one of you truly believe. You cannot truly be of faith until and unless you love for your brother what you love for yourselves. In other hadith, saying love for humankind what you like for your own selves. These are the bonding spirit that talk about a bigger framework by which as a Muslims, either you are religious or irreligious in terms of spirituality, you are bound by this as a motivating factor to look at the other from a positive perspectives. And as African Muslims, we're also bound by our own spirituality from the African traditional cultural backgrounds. But in some culture, religion and culture are so blend that you cannot draw a line. And the spirit of Ubuntu has kept the African man going seriously. The Ubuntu concept of you are what you are because of who I am. You are what you are because of who I am. Therefore, I am because you are. And if you want to deny this African proverb, let's put you on solitary confinement and see how does your life improve or deprove. How do you add value or devalue your own life and your own worldview? Distinguished brothers and sisters, and this informs us about civilizations and the value of our civilization that we have. I always love the German philosopher who says that civilizations are measured by the level of diversity retained. Civilization is measured by the level of diversity retained and unity attained. Diversity retained and unity attained. This measure an ideal civilization or unideal civilizations. Distinguished brothers and sisters, based on these shared values, we have our challenges in Nigeria as Muslim and Christian working together, living together once upon a time, very happy family, until the economic recession in the late 70s. And we start finding our challenges in the early 80s. And to date, we've been trying to find the bearing in our Nigerian communities. And that gave birth to springing up of many faith-based organizations and institutions, trying to create a paradigm that will take us back to those glory days when the Muslims and the Christians live as a very, very good neighbors. When the fear is not about you as a Christian or as a Muslims, but the fear is beyond, is what affects our honor together. Distinguished brothers and sisters, as a child of circumstance, we've been part of those fear, living on fear, working on fear of the others, that make us to go into extreme level, withdraw from the others, and even take off arms at one point in time in order to defend our community. But distinguished brothers and sisters, along that line, we have our turning point, which the Imam and the Pastor documentary, or the BBC World documentary, turning the World Review Beyond 2000, among others, will tell you, just Google BBC World Review Beyond 2000. We'll give you a summary of documentary of the end of the year 2000, what outstanding or remarkable effort we've done in trying to create a shift to a shared value from exclusive to an inclusive worldview. Distinguished brothers and sisters, if we are to look deep into, we give birth to an organization called the Interfaith Mediation Center. And then from May 1995 to date, as a faith-based organizations, what role have we been played, or have we been able to play as a partnerships? And when we started, it was a lonely journey. It was very hard, very difficult. People feel you cannot put that, because people are still on the pains in my own city of Kaduna, from 87 crisis to 1990, 1991, 1992, unfortunate Zangon Kataf crisis that really break the backbones and create that division within the city of Kaduna. And then until the unfortunate 2000 and 2001, 2002, both the Sharia crisis, unquote, and the Miss World Beauty pageant that also put us apart in creating a divided city, of a city with about 2.3 million people today, divided into two. However, with those challenges, we walked the path, and we are able to create 21 different modules. In the last 19 years, we have created 21 different modules of engagement on interfaith partnerships, working across divided lines, either as a youth or as a women groups, working within formal educational system or informal educational system like the madrasa. What are the modules that you can engage as a peacemaker? What are the modules as a religious personality you can bring on board to create a template by which, not about talk show. I'm very happy when Jin Shun say, no more the years of talk show, is the era of action. So we have different 21 modules that we have engaged in practical dimension within a complex nation called Nigeria, 170 million, 250 ethnic nationalities, Muslims and Christians almost 50-50, the last election 52, and then 40 Christian, 7.8% others in the last census that was agreed. And if you look at that phenomenon to date, you will see that it's a complex nation, the most populous nation in the black continent. We have walked through these important modules, about 21 of them, and come out with 3 outstanding successful interventions that I would like to share with you. One important intervention that religion can play a very important role where political system have a stalemate or where political system has failed was our intervention in Yelwan Shandam. Yelwan Shandam is a city in Plateau State, which up to today, most of you know Plateau State is still not settled as a result of this conflict, political conflict, but taking on religious dimension. Fighting over resources, taking religious identity. This conflict in Yelwan Shandam, we are able to go into intervention after the state of emergency was declared. and the military take over the state. They are looking for solutions. And there we are invited by the state government. The administrator, Chris Ali, come in and help us. What do we do? And he gave us the Southern Senatorial Zone, and specifically the city where genocide was committed, the city of Yelwa, Shandam, in the Southern Senatorial Zone. We move into actions. And moving into action, we are able to reconcile these two communities in 2005. And since after the Yelwa and Shandam declaration that come out of that discussions, up to this moment, cities around, towns and villages are on fire, but not the city of Yelwa and Shandam. This shows the impact of a religiously motivated religious leaders if they move outside the pulpit, outside the box, into the social engagement. They can be able to create a new paradigm that will really bring the sustainable peace that Almighty define or desire for all his creations. Distinguished brothers and sisters, number 2, we look at what we call track 2 diplomacy. And we look at interfaith engagement in track 2 diplomacy. And in track 2 diplomacy, we move from Nigeria into Kenya. After the post-election violence in Kenya, we work in the Rift Valley. And we are, as member of Ashafa Fellows in Kenya, we are looking for who are the ideal people around the world who can help us to resolve the problem. Even though the problem is not religious, it's ethnic based in Kenya, the Rift Valley, but how can we have people who can neutral, who can come in? And the idea of getting the Imam and the pastor to come to play. And we move into Kenya. And getting into Kenya, we are able to work in partnership with civil society organizations and to look into the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins. And we work the work for complete 4 good months, going, coming in Yelwa and Shandam. And at the end of in the Rift Valley, in fact, in the Bond Forest specifically. And after our negotiations, the Kikuyu and the Kalenjins, who have murdered, they are same Christians, burning down churches, killing inside the church, one tribe killing the other, reminiscent of what happened in Rwanda. But we're able to work with them. And today, they're able to reconcile. That is the constituency where Uhuru Kenyatta come from. It's the same constituency where Ruto William come from. And because of our interventions, the community forgive and let go of their pains. Among other interventions by other civil society. And today, Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto, who was the militia on the other side, unquote, they came in, the community forgive them, they contest election and they won. Even though they have case before ICCJ, the International Criminal Court of Justice, but in their own country, they are forgiven and they contest and they won the election. This is the power of faith-based motivated initiatives. When they see me as an imam, if it's a predominantly Christian setting, they don't see the Muslims. They see a brother coming to give a helping hand. And the outcome is what we call an African answer, which is a powerful documentary that is translated into about 13 different international languages being used around the world. The same applies to the imam and the pastor, from vengeance to forgiveness. Finally, empowering civil society organization, we move to Chad. Chad here in the Chadian, where the Arabs and the Francophone are divided communities. We work within these divided communities, and we have what we call the Chadian solution. It's a documentary that supersedes how faith people can go into action. It has happened around the world. We need to bring it back. Mozambique does not got her independent until the Saint Egidio Catholic community come in to intervene, and the outcome of their intervention was successful independence of Mozambique. We know even with the American Reverend Jesse Jackson and Louis Farrakhan, they are the one who intervened where diplomacy has failed to bring about the release of the hostages in Cambodia. So this shows that there are many things religious people can do as a partnership for peace to bring about a sustainable world where we shall all be proud of who you are, and our values will not be, religion become a force for peace. Part of the solution of our global human family challenges, not part of the problem, which it seems to have been today. But we know religion is not the problem. It is the actors who are the problems. And in conclusion, I want to say, you cannot call a car a bad one simply because you got a drunken driver who burned the car to the wall. Religion has no problem. It is the drivers who have a problem. And we need to work together in order to let them back.
Is that a good analogy or what? Religion is not the problem, it's the drivers.